Sing, girl.
Right.
Enough talking, Ashling. When you gonna sing? I mean, is there almost like a you have to take the moment maybe before you start singing? You can tell your story. How do we get to that part of the story? Because that's incredible.
So it really depends. So my prayer and my ask, of God is that he would give me the need of the room. Like whatever room I'm in, that he would just, that he would just open my eyes to be able to see or hear what the need of the room is. And so I have been in services where I couldn't let go of the feeling that somebody in the room was contemplating suicide. And so when I felt that, then I shared, right? And so
is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new epi, searching for a fade fiending, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your words and I know.
Welcome in, everyone. Episode 181. Still Sing with a Cole with our guest, Ashling Cole. What? Ashling, well, you know what? I just want to start with, I've never seen a name like Ashling. Where did that come from?
I get asked that a lot. Actually, it is an Irish name, or in the Irish language is called Gaelic. That's the Irish language, and so the original spelling is actually Aisling, which is pronounced Ashling, but nobody could pronounce it. So when I was in, I think 6th grade or 7th grade or something like that, I said to my mom, I said, "Thank you. My name is cool, but nobody can pronounce it." So I actually had it legally changed from AIS to ASHLING. But it's really cool. It actually means a vision or a dream. So I think my mom did a pretty good job.
Wow. It was all a dream.
That's right.
That's perfect. I'm glad I asked about that, because I was like, I'm not going anywhere past that. Because I just got to know. So let's. I want to do a little introduction to those who maybe are hearing about you for the first time. So my sister, she lives over in Virginia. She sends me a clip. There's a lady singing, and she's killing it. Now, it's the type of clip where it's not me. I'm not that person, but you know that person. There's always somebody that has to say, "Girl, sing." Now, Ashling, clearly up there, you're doing your thing. Why do we always got to yell out, "Girl, sing that song"? Sing. What? Why does that happen?
I mean, honestly, I think that it comes just from encouraging one another. So if you've been through something and I've been through something, and I'm sharing a testimony of what I've been through, and you understand, then you say, "Absolutely, I heard you." Say that thing. Tell the people, talk to the people, right? It's encouragement. And I think that that's great that, we do it in church, that people can be vocal about that. But we need that in our lives. We all need some encouragement. And so if somebody says, sing the song, tell the story, whatever it might be, I take it as, some people might not understand, the church culture, which I do. And so I'm like, somebody might throw a shoe at me, and I'll be like, "Oh, I appreciate you," because that's that's sort of the church vernacular, if you will.
Yes.
And that's how, I'm not sure why we throw shoes at people. I'm not really sure. Or slap them on the, you get slapped on the shoulder or something like that. Then that means you're doing a good job. So but some people might not understand. They might think it's weird.
Contrary to the bodily contact, you're doing a good job. Okay.
Right.
Ashling, you've got those skills. Like there's a church that's coming to visit us this week. And everybody's like, "Oh, what's that church that's coming?" Yeah, whatever. And then when they're reading the church announcement, they say, "Oh, and they have Ashling Cole, she's going to be." And everybody's like, "Wait, what? Oh, that's her church." Now the place is stacked.
Wow.
Am I right on that? Is that about what it's like when people are like, well, I wasn't going to come, but I heard she coming. Do you get that? Do people tell you about that?
I can't really speak to that. If that's what's going on, I appreciate it so much. The love that I've been getting over these last couple years since being on Sunday Best has been like, I mean, I can't even really explain it. I can't honestly explain it. The amount of love and encouragement and appreciation that I have gotten just from people all across the world. I mean, even today I got an inbox. I'm old school. A DM, excuse me, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And this young man said, "Can you help me find my way back to salvation?" And I'm like, wow, that's a heavy question. And he felt safe with somebody like me. He felt safe enough to say that and ask that question. And so throughout today, I've been praying for him and just kind of like trying to find out, what his situation is and what the circumstance is. But I get messages like that all the time from people that I don't know. I've never met them, but there's something about, I call it the mama auntie energy, right? Yes. I just kind of have that mama auntie energy, like, you can talk to me about things, things like I'm the cool auntie, but also the safe one, and somebody that's not, I'm going to do my best not to steer you in, I don't want to necessarily say the wrong direction, but a direction that's not going to be good for your, your safety, your well-being, your health, all those things. And so I don't know, maybe the gray hair, I don't know, maybe it's my personality. I'm not really sure why that is. But I get that all the time, that people really just feel safe asking me those heavy, hard questions and having those conversations.
For those who may not be in the know, you mentioned it. So what is Sunday Best and how did you get on Sunday Best? Do you mind going into that?
Not at all. I think it's a hilarious story. So Sunday Best, of course, is BET. It was the gospel version of American Idol, if you will. That's kind of how I qualify it, or to people that don't know.
Yeah.
And many seasons. They kind of took a break in between, and so this was season 10. This was like the rebirth of Sunday Best. Came back for season 10, hosted by Kirk Franklin. And that year, this was in 2020. That year, the judges were Kelly Price and Erica Pringle and Jonathan McReynolds. Ooh. And so of course, I'm familiar with Sunday Best. Fun fact, I actually auditioned for Sunday Best on one of their very, very first seasons. I'm talking about like 25 years ago, however many years ago it was. You can go on YouTube and find my audition video. It's on there. But my best friend, who's a complete supporter of Sunday Best, has auditioned himself. His name is Ja'Cory Prothro, an amazing gospel artist in his own right. And he was like, "Oh no, you should audition for Sunday Best." And I'm like, but I'm over 40. I'm like, let the young people do it. I don't really consider myself. I was a worship leader, but a gospel artist, like, nah, I'll pass. I'll watch it, and I'll support you while you audition. This is what I said.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't let it up. You know how you have friends that tell you to do something and they never bring it up again? He would not let up. Every week, did you send your video in? Did you fill out the application? He would not let up. And so finally I said, "Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, fine." So I did my little audition, uploaded it to the website, and didn't hear anything. And then he auditioned as well. He got a call. He said, "Oh, they're flying me to Atlanta to do the audition." I was like, "Hey man, congratulations." He said, "You haven't heard anything yet?" I said, "No, it's fine. This is your year. This is your year to do it." He said, No. I promise you they're going to call." Somehow, I don't know, they called and they flew me out to Atlanta. He and I went to Atlanta, and I made it to, that was the top 50, and I made it to the top 20, and then it was the top 10, and then it was 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So I ended up the 4th runner up that season, which so far was the last season. They haven't done another season. And we were in a whole pandemic. That was when we started filming in February of 2020.
Yeah.
which is exactly when, around February 14th, something like that, was right around when they started shutting things down. Yes. So they sent us all home, and they were going to cancel the season, and they somehow decided to keep the season. And so they brought in a whole tech team from LA, and they were able to really have the season virtual, which I thought it was tough for us, but it was amazing, because it gave us an opportunity to really encourage people that were sitting on their couches with no answers, no hope. What do we do? Some people were separated from their families. People were in hospitals where people are losing their lives. So we had just a beautiful opportunity to encourage people that were going through maybe the toughest season of their lives.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a little shocked here. So I just got to understand, how does a person that has your skills not consider herself a gospel artist? I mean, you're not normal. And like I said, I already know that the church announcements, you know what? I want to go back and change it. I guarantee you the church announcements are Ashling Cole's church is coming. And then they say the name of the church is coming. I mean,
that's hilarious.
It's okay. Nothing wrong with being humble. But even now, to this point, you don't sound like you even want to even call yourself that. I'm just shocked. I appreciate the humility, but you got those skills.
I appreciate that.
Does it finally hit home with you where like you're literally one of the world's best?
Wow.
Has that hit?
I don't know if I would go so far as to say that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that. I will say so. So here's kind of the backstory leading into Sunday Best. So I've been touring full time. I've been in music full time as a background singer and recording artist for probably 15 to 20 years. And so I toured with the legendary Larry Graham and Graham Central Station. For those of you that don't know who that is, that's the one in a million. Oh, one in a million, right? That's Larry Graham, right? And so I was part of Graham Central Station, and I toured with him for over 12 years, from 2009 until right around the pandemic. Yeah. And so I toured with him. I toured with Sheila E. Wow. I toured with Prince while Prince was alive, and I sang backgrounds for a ton of recording artists, but not necessarily gospel. Kenny Lattimore and Gerald Albright and Kirk Whalum and even Jonathan Butler, who is a crossover artist. Yeah. And so I was definitely in music, and I definitely I had even released my own projects and had even done gospel music, but I didn't consider myself like a premier, top whatever in gospel music. And not because I don't believe that God has given me a gift, because when I get DMs like that, can you help me find my way back to salvation? Yes. That's not by my own will. That's not something that I can generate from my own strength or goodness or greatness or anything like that. That comes from God. That is something when God shines his light on you. People call it anointing. When God says, this is my chosen one, and I'm putting you in position to help people, to encourage people, that's a big deal. And so I consider that I'm in a position like that. But as far as going up against the Kim Burrells and the Clark sisters and the Yolanda Adams of our time, like all these amazing, Jacqueline Carr, these fantastic, amazing singers, I'm like, just to be in the midst, I'm cool. I'm cool just to be in the midst, like just to even be considered to be part of that. But I do definitely, I don't consider it like I'm a skilled singer. I'm a minister of music. And that's the difference for me. So I would never like brag about it or say. It's like, it's ministry to me. And if it's through music, great. Sometimes it's through speaking. Because I do, speaking engagements as well. So it just depends. But when God shines his light on you, that's a real serious commitment. And it requires you to be humble, but also to be able to come boldly, knowing that, you bring the atmosphere. You're an atmosphere changer. And so you come into a situation, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, as we say, so that you're not bringing that bad, negative energy. And it's a huge responsibility, and people are counting on you. So to be able to be a glory carrier, it's a privilege. It's like, and it feels like now my life's work, even though I've been a recording artist and traveled and toured and done all that stuff. The greatest work that I've ever done is standing next to somebody at a church service and praying for them and holding space for somebody that's going through a tough time, that's lost a child or who's going through divorce or that to me is greater than any other accomplishment that I've ever done in my life.
So I want to go back then. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Where do you claim?
Okay. I was born in Canada.
Hey.
I was born in Vancouver, Canada. Oh, yeah. I was then, I spent the first year of my life with my grandmother in Ireland. My mother was born and raised in Ireland. And then I was raised in San Francisco after that. So I moved to San Francisco when I was a year and a half. And so I grew up in the city. We call it the city. And then after that, I moved to Oakland. So Bay Area, really my whole life. That's kind of where, Bay Area has this little grit, this little swag. We kind of just do. It's just kind of something that we all have. And so, so that's where I grew up. So I could live in Canada. I could live in Europe. I can live in the United States. I could go. So if things starts going haywire, I might just be a Canadian, or I might be a.
Yeah. No, I spent a summer in Seattle, and
nice.
That was the summer of 2013. And if you check the Farmer's Almanac, and it's the first time in like 40 years, they went like 40 days in a row with no rain. And I took my motorcycle because I was living in Los Angeles, and I rode my motorcycle up into Vancouver, and I love Vancouver.
Yeah, beautiful.
It was, the people were very friendly. It also happened to have been like Cannabis Day the day I showed. I didn't know that. I just kind of ended up there. That was the day, because that's like the July 4th weekend, and so I had the free time. I had no idea, but
wow,
yeah, Vancouver is beautiful. I love it. Yeah. I've been to Toronto, Montreal. Vancouver is my favorite.
Yeah,
of all the three that I've been to.
Sure.
So growing up, I want to go to high school. Bear with me here. Maybe you were brown bagging it, but bear with me. You just got your food from the lunch guy. He's got his hairnet on, and he just goes schlop. Gives you your tray. You come out of the lunch line. What table are you sitting at, Ashling? I'm gonna say you're over there with the choir geeks, right? Wow.
This was funny. I was actually a chameleon. So I hung out with the choir, the music students, because I was also an instrumentalist. And so I hung out with the theater people, musical theater, and the bands. But I also hung out with the athletes. And so I had sort of an identity with the athletes as well. And then I also hung out with, the brainiacs, the nerd crew as well. And then I also found myself, in high school. I didn't grow up in church. I ain't been saved all my life, as we say. And then I was hanging out with what we call the stoners, the kids that were up under the bleachers, right? Yes, so I had friends sitting on the bleachers, I had friends on the field, and I had friends under the bleachers as well.
Yeah. So you had to pick and choose. Okay, today I guess I'm over here.
And most likely I wasn't even in the lunchroom. Most likely I was either in choir rehearsal or doing, for extra credit, or, you know, or doing something like that. But it was always, you know, always music related.
Wait a minute. Something already tells me I'm in high school and I see the signs just went up for the talent show. Man, I can't wait to do that. Oh, Ashling gonna be in it? Never mind, I'm good. How did
Not
that
at
go
all.
down? Really?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I didn't participate in too many musical things like that, like extracurricular, but it's only because I'm actually a high school dropout. I actually dropped out of high school my sophomore year.
Okay.
I went on to college and I actually got a record deal when I was 17. So I dropped out of school to basically get a record deal. And
Yeah.
I furthered my education after, like, you know, years later,
Yeah.
went back to school and all that stuff. But I don't really have too much of a high school experience. So my my eighth grade, now I'm going way back, but my eighth grade talent show, I did win the talent show, and I was actually presented with an award, a trophy for being musician of the year. I was first chair clarinet in middle school, and so yeah, so I always did that. But I didn't, I don't believe that God really gave me my voice until I was in my 20s. So you know, I could sing. I studied to be an opera singer when I was younger, and so I could sing. But the transformation really happened in my 20s. When I was 20, I actually attempted suicide because I just didn't see hope. I didn't have a voice. I didn't, you know, not even a singing voice, but I didn't have a voice. I didn't know who I was. I found myself in an abusive relationship, and I was really in a time where I was really desperate for guidance and love, and I just didn't have any of it. And so I tried really hard to take my life, and God sent an angel. I still don't to this day know how it happened, but it's not for me to know. All I know is that somebody found me, rushed, you know, called the ambulance, rushed me to the hospital. They were able to revive me, and that was the beginning of a whole new life for me. It was almost like part of me did have to die, right? When we talk about dying to self, right? That was the death of self that
Yeah.
year. And then, you know, God began to really speak to me, and that's when I got saved. It was in my early 20s. Became a worship leader and started learning these songs and diving into all this incredible music, gospel music. And then as I began to understand how great God was, like that I didn't know him, but he knew me. And that's when my voice really began to shift and change, because then it wasn't about singing. Then it was about telling a story. Then it was about a testimony. And so I definitely don't claim to be the greatest singer, but I will sing as if it is the last note that I'm ever going to sing. Whatever
Yeah.
you give me, I'm going to put 1000% into it, because God had no reason to spare my life other than he had a purpose for me to fulfill. There
Yeah.
was no reason for my life to be spared, but it was. And so I give him my all. I owe him my all, my praise, my gratitude, my worship. And so that's what comes out of my mouth. And I think that that's what people hear is like, I'm so committed to letting you know how good God is through this gift that he's given me. And so as if my life depends on it, because it does. Because he spared he really literally spared my life.
Yeah. I there's so much I wanted to get to, but you took me down a whole nother path. I am so curious now then. The fact that you did attempt suicide and then where you are now, um, do you get the opportunity to talk to people, and is it a distraction to lead with that? Because people see you at such a high point now. You know, we're so excited to meet you. We're so excited to hear you sing. All we want is to hear you sing. When do you get the chance to really give the testimony and even enlighten us with the story. Do you get what I mean? That I feel like we just want you to sing, girl. What I started by saying that, right? So sing, girl. Enough talking, Ashling. When you gonna sing? I mean, is there almost like a you have to take the moment maybe before you start singing? You can tell your story. How do we get to that part of the story? Because that's incredible.
So it really depends. So my prayer and my ask, of God is that he would give me the need of the room, like whatever room I'm in, that he would just, that he would just open my eyes to be able to see or hear what the need of the room is. And so I have been in services where I couldn't let go of the feeling that somebody in the room was contemplating suicide. And so when I felt that, then I shared, right? And so, sometimes you'll see psalmists, worship leaders, you'll see people, say, good morning, so glad to be here, greetings to all, you might go through all those formalities. But then when it gets into ministry, you will see people say, hold on a second, because I feel that there's a need, you know what I'm saying? And so it's not calculated. It's careful, but it's also intentional. And so if I feel compelled to share pieces of what I've been through, then I will. But I don't necessarily say, okay, I'm going to this place and I'm going to share this, and this, and this, and I'm going to touch on these 4 points and, like a PowerPoint presentation. Never that. But it's like, what's the need of the room? Because I could get in there with 4 songs planned, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a whole nother need here, and we might shift into a whole nother direction. And so I think as a worship leader, really, you have to be able to, first of all, you have to have such a close relationship with God that you can hear his voice. And you have to be able to hear his voice even over your own voice. And so you're leading a song, but God is trying to point you in another direction. And you can't be so caught up in ego or the agenda that you're like, but no, I planned this song. This is the song that people want. No. God had this. This is a God moment, and it's a moment for healing. And if that's what your motivation is for kingdom business, then you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right, because you're going to be able to hear his voice. So, and then moments like this, this is such a great opportunity for people, that you've had me on here, and now we get to talk about these things. And so I love doing stuff like this. I love being able to just have a conversation and say, that's great. That is a part of who I am. And here's some other parts of me as well. And if you relate, awesome, and I think that I wear my past more as, I utilize those experiences as tools, as opposed to looking at my past as a burden. I've been through divorce. I've gone through breast cancer. I have, there's all these things. Now I could look at it as a burden, oh, if only I hadn't been through, but no, I'm on the other side of those things, and I'm thriving. I'm doing great. So if you're going through that, let's have a conversation, and I'll tell you, this is how I went through my process, so that maybe you don't have to struggle through your process like I did. And I think that if we get to do that, if we begin to really be more transparent about what God has brought us through and really share those testimonies, that people, then they start to have hope. Then they're like, oh, so I'm not alone. But if we attach shame or embarrassment to the thing that we've been through, now how's that person going to know that anybody's gotten through it to the other side if you don't share?
Yeah. I want to ask, you mentioned a little earlier, when you're trying to do a set, so you say, all right, we're going over to such and such church or event. I'm sorry, I'm just pigeonholing you that you're just going to be with your church. And we know that people want Ashling herself. So when you say, all right, I have this event and I'm going to do 4 songs, just say I'm going to do 4 songs. How do you make that decision? I feel like you're going to interrogate them and be like, all right, so who do you think is going to be in attendance? What do you guys want? How do you make that decision on the set?
A lot of times people will have special requests. A lot of times, shout out to Renee Lee. She helps, to do all these things to help me, weed through different things, and also, to administrate, so that it's not all falling, on my shoulders. And so that's awesome to have a team. Build a team, y'all. Build a team.
Hey, shout out RL Renee.
Right.
Renee.
Right. So yeah, so they might request, and it might be something like "Safe in His Arms," because of course that's a song that's going viral right now. Yes, it might be "Change Me," because that was a big song that I did on Sunday Best. And it might say, "And a song of your choosing." And so I definitely find out what the event is, what we're celebrating, or what are we commemorating, all of those things. But at the end of the day, like I said, be ye prepared, but then be willing to shift if you need to, right? Okay. So if there's a band, which is my favorite, I will do events with tracks, but it is my favorite to have the full band.
I was going to ask you that. You got that one already.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So I love working with musicians, from all over. Is just absolutely amazing to work with musicians. And so if they've said, we have a live band, we need you to send the songs in advance, I might send one or two extra just to say, it's a possibility. Let's have this, on deck just in case. But I like to have conversations with the musicians ahead of time just to prepare them, or just to see, they might have some feedback. Oh, well, our church doesn't really like this type of song, but we like these. So, when you have that dialogue with the minister of music or the musical director, that's always a plus. But I think, be prepared, but also be willing to shift if you need to.
Ashling, in my mind, I think that there are points in your performances or in these sets that we're referring to, and they try to cut you off. Does that ever happen? Where like, okay, that last song went a little too long, or like in my mind, I think there could be times where that happens. Does that happen?
I mean, yes. It happens. I wouldn't say that it's in like, I've never experienced anyone being rude about it. If that's kind of what you mean, like, somebody saying, you're not being impactful, so you can just go take your seat. I've never experienced something like that. I don't know if anybody has, but yeah, there's been times where there's time constraints. Let's say hypothetically an event gets started late.
Yeah.
And they've got 6 people on program, and I'm, 4th or something like that. And they might say, "Hey, I know that we had you for 20 minutes. Can you cut it down to 10? Like I've definitely had that. And I've also been in situations at churches where if you're leading worship, they want worship like 9.3 minutes for worship, 1.5 minutes for prayer, 30 seconds transition. Like I've been at places where they had a clock, where you could see like a countdown clock. I've been in situations. Yeah, for sure. So it depends. I mean, of course you want to have the freedom or the space to like let God lead. However, long is long. I mean, sometimes people do go long, and it can be long-winded, especially if you're, we don't really do midnight musicals anymore. But, back in the day when we used to do midnight musicals, we used to go till 2, 3 in the morning. Some people don't really want to go that long. So I think it's okay. I do. I don't get offended, or now I have heard artists, they get upset because their time is cut short. It happened to Larry Graham. We were doing a festival years ago, and they had to cut Larry Graham short. So I never think, oh, well, do you know who I am? Like I would never say that, because you just never know how God is leading other people as well. Like, don't think that God is just leading you, but God might be leading them as well. And into saying, hey, we need to shift or move or, change the program. And that's totally okay. Again, be flexible, be open, don't be so rigid that this is my agenda or this is my assignment. Even it might be your assignment, but guess what? They have an assignment too. And so just because yours doesn't override somebody else's assignment. And so I think it's just really being flexible. But I pray, Lord, if you hear me, just don't let anybody be rude about that, Lord. I thank you in the name of Jesus. Don't let anybody be rude. Because that would hurt. That would hurt my feelings. It would. It would hurt. I'm sensitive. It would hurt my feelings.
You could do without the hook.
Ooh! Wow. Yeah. Exactly.
Wait, do you write? Do you write?
I do. I do.
Okay. So you're multi-talented there. I'm just kind of curious because I feel like when you were talking about your set, maybe people want all of this famous stuff. They want some things, and there may come a time where you're kind of like, I do write. I got some pieces. I got some stuff here, and we're not robots. Sometimes you might get tired of. There's like 5 events in a row, and I had to do these 2 or 3 songs. I'd like to mix it up, but how does that writing work for you? Do you go with themes? It just kind of like, what's your muse? How does this process go for you?
Yeah, I've written quite a few songs that I've recorded. And I did a secular project some years ago called Where Love Began. And it's basically telling my story about falling in love and how I thought the person was the one, and then God said otherwise, And so I definitely write truthfully. If I'm singing something that I wrote, it means that I've been through it, right? If that makes sense. And I use that skill as kind of therapy, I wrote 2 songs. The Other Side of Yes is a song that I wrote that's out on all digital music platforms, as well as a song called Have Your Way. And there might be a time where, that's like the desire of my heart, like, Lord, just have your way. Like, I know that you gave me these promises. You said that I'd never walk alone. You said that you'd always be by my side. So I'm standing on your word, and I'm surrendering my life to you, to Lord, have your way. And so that song I wrote over 10 years ago, but it still ministers to me to this day. And I love, I've written songs for other people as well. So I love being able to sit down and write a song. And people, currently right now, like I'm working on a project right now that I'll be doing some writing as well. So it's great to be able to do that. And honestly, I think anybody can write a song. Anybody can write a song. And if you feel like you can't, then do a collaboration. Get with somebody who has written a song. Don't be afraid to bring in a partner, or maybe you do music and somebody else is a poet. Maybe they know how to write lyrics. So then partner with that person and put something together. It doesn't have to just be you all by yourself, creating it, writing it, recording it, all that stuff. It's like I said earlier, get a team, put a team together of people that can help you elevate and take that song to the next level as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we all do this. We all put things in a box. I guess it's neat for us. What do you get a lot? For those who may have found you for the first time here, what do you get? Like, is there a certain artist or a person people like, oh, you remind me of, or you sound like? What normally happens there? Whether you like it or not, but what normally happens?
Yeah, 100% is Tina Marie. 100% people compare me to Tina Marie. In fact, they call me the gospel Tina Marie. That's not, I don't claim that as a nickname, but I have had people say, oh, this is the gospel Tina Marie. Either that, or I do read the comments on social media and people be like, is that Kiki Wyatt's mom? I've also gotten that too. I don't know Kiki Wyatt's mom personally, But I'll take it. So yeah, that's definitely been a comparison. But I think that it's a compliment. I take it as a compliment. I never take it as people are trying to take away from you or your individuality or anything like that. I mean, Tina Marie, God rest her soul. I never got a chance to work with her, but she was an amazing artist. And even in the music industry, she did some amazing things to have certain laws be changed in the music industry where they have to pay artists a certain amount of money, where it used to be $600 a year. They could sign an artist and only pay them $600 a year, and that was substantial. But she changed it, and I think I don't know what the dollar amount is, but she made a lot of advancements in the music industry as well. Not only was she and an instrumentalist, she was a great bass player and singer and all of that.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I plan on coming back to that one. Would you think you'd ever record in another language?
Oh, I would love to. In fact, I just did. I can't talk about it.
Okay.
But I just did. Yeah. I just did last week with an artist, an Afro beats artist, and they had us sing. Yeah, absolutely, was in another language. So I would love to do that. I would love to do Spanish. I would love to record any of that. Teach me. You can teach me whatever it is, and I'll sing it. Absolutely.
Well, that was the lead into this next question is where are the international energy? Where's that international energy coming from? Do you see that? Man, I'm starting to get a lot of requests from Germany or over in the Philippines. They really want me to come over. Where is that for you? I know it's there. I'm just kind of curious.
I haven't got any international requests, believe it or not. But if you know somebody that wants to bring me over to the Philippines, I am available. Booking at ashlingcole.com. Hit me up. We can make it happen. I just need a flight and a hotel and maybe a couple dollars in my pocket, and I will be there. Absolutely.
I lived in Korea for a year. There were a lot of churches. I played a little drums, but there was a lot of churches. They get down with the get down. There's a lot of Christian churches over there.
Wow.
I know plenty of Filipinos, and with all them. Okay, well, yeah. I need to be having some talks with Renee.
We'll talk. Absolutely.
Pass somebody her name. Be like, yo,
absolutely.
That's okay.
I would love that. I did just come back from for those of you that listen to jazz, smooth jazz, there's a saxophone player. His name is Dave Koz, and he's a real big deal in the smooth jazz world. Oh, yeah. And he's a good friend of mine. And every year he does the Dave Koz cruise, which is a 7-day cruise at a different destination every year. We've been doing it. He's been doing it for 20 years. I've been doing it for 12 years with him. And so we just came back a couple weeks ago from Greece and Sicily and Malta, and it was absolutely unbelievable. And I got a chance. We always do a gospel morning, like a gospel brunch type of a show. And so I got to minister with Kirk Whalum and Kenny Lattimore and Regina Bell and just some incredible artists. And so I do get to travel overseas. Every year we go to a new destination, but I have not traveled overseas to do ministry. And I would love, we gonna talk, because I would absolutely love to do that.
I've been in some churches in a lot of different places, a lot of different countries. And when I was in the Army. And so when we get up, a lot of us, that's all we know is how we were raised in America. And when we start doing what we do, their heads be bopping too. And I'm like, they like what we do. And some of them, they've seen it. This is before the YouTube era, but they've seen videos, they've seen movies, they've seen shows. And so now they're getting this music like in their backyard, and they were vibing. So Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Well, then we're gonna
Yes,
come back.
in Japan. Yeah, in Japan, when we would go, like every other year, we would go to Japan with Larry Graham. They knew every single word to every one of his songs. I'm talking about
Yes.
all of his music, all of Sly and the Family Stone's music, like
Yeah.
every word. And you would think, especially Japan, conservative, quiet. You get it, in the music venue, and they're standing on their feet, jumping, singing, dancing, like the whole nine. So it's not, the power of music is so profound. It's literally a universal language, and it doesn't matter where you go. If you sing, you could sing a song together. You don't speak the same language, but you could sing in the same language, and it's so powerful. It's so powerful.
I want to get this. I've got some other place I want to go. I want to get this while it's burning. All right. So you said you're an instrumentalist, and you said at one time the clarinet was your thing. Are you still an instrumentalist? So the clarinet was the
no. So I played. I was first chair clarinet. I won all the awards and ribbons and did all the things in school. I played saxophone for a little bit, but I couldn't, like, those are both wind instruments, and I couldn't sing and play at the same time. And so at some point, I just had to make a decision between one or the other, and I chose singing. Although, if any of you know Justin Lee Schultz, he is an amazing young instrumentalist. Social media, he's blowing up all over social media. He was on the Dave Koz cruise, and we have an agreement that I'm going to learn piano and accompany myself next year on the cruise on at least one song. So we just made this agreement, because he was playing, because he's an amazing, when I tell you, look him up, Justin Lee Schultz, his whole family, his sister Jamie Schultz, the father, they all are amazing instrumentalists and singers and all the rest of it. They're good friends of mine. And so I was listening to him play, and I was like, wow, I really want to learn. I've always wanted to learn how to play piano. And I can play when I'm songwriting. I can play well enough to, create a sound or get the key and all that stuff, but not to be able to, like, play in public. Oh no, I don't have that. So he said, I'll tell you what, if you can, and I won't give you the particulars, but he challenged me to learning to play this year.
That's exciting, and it keeps that fire burn, that energy. Because I know at some point, these are my words, but I know at some point it kind of becomes a job. I know you like doing this, but it becomes a job, and so you kind of want to sometimes stretch, and do something different. That's why I was asking if you write, because I wanted to know just what kind of stretching you do. So, and you do write, which is pretty awesome. All right. So you talked early. So you said something earlier that I want to kind of circle back to. When it comes to you and being creative, I have to ask you, if I gave you the best steakhouse, hope you're not a vegan or vegetarian. If I gave you the best steakhouse in Vegas, and I'm gassing up my jet and I'm flying in anyone you want, dead or alive, who are the 5 entertainers? I don't want to just say musicians or singers.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm only giving you 5. Who are the 5 people that you are bringing to that dinner? Maybe they motivated you through the years. They're your favorite artists, and you only get the 5.
Wow. Well, you said 5, and I'm like, I got to come up with 5. That's so many. Okay. I would definitely say, Daryl Coley. Daryl Coley, for those of you that don't know, has passed away, but he was in the Bay Area, one of the greatest singers, I think, in gospel music history. And he was instrumental in, when I first started doing gospel music, I would study his records. And so I would love to, have a chance to really sit down and talk to him. Daryl Coley. I would say, I know that's 1. I'm like, 4 more. Okay.
You had that one ready. So I know you got this.
I would probably, just because people would probably not that I probably get hate mail if I don't say this, but I would say Prince. I would probably bring Prince back to have more conversations with him, because we did have conversations. I would want to have more conversations with him, and definitely he was gone too soon. My brother just passed away, and I would bring my brother with me. Because he definitely, he was an amazing artist in his own right, and so I would bring him back, and I would bring Warren and Erica Campbell.
Wait,
yeah, wow. You said dead or alive. You said they could be dead or alive. Yes, I would bring Warren and Erica Campbell.
Wow. Wait a minute. You thought that was going to be hard. That did not
seem hard. That was hard. No, that was hard. That was really hard. And because there's other people. I'm like, Kirk Franklin. What about, Dorinda Clark? What about, what about? So that was hard.
No, it is. It is. But, it gives us an idea. And these are, if you would have taken one out and put Kirk Franklin in, I mean, no one would be mad, but it gives us a chance to kind of know you and just like your style, the diversity of thought and the people that have influenced you. I mean, shout out to your brother, your brother slid in there, which that's never happened. We're 181 episodes in. I don't ask that question every episode, but no one brings their brother, which is cool. Oh, wow. So we learned a lot. I'm glad I did that. I'm glad we had the opportunity to learn about you and that. All right. So you've traveled the world. If I gave you that jet and the people that you brought in, you guys didn't ruin my jet. It's actually pretty clean. So I'm going to give you the jet again, Ashling, and I'm going to tell you it is gassed up, and I'm going to give you this option. You can fly to Vancouver, or you can fly to anywhere you want in the world. Where are you going if you're not going to Vancouver?
I'm going to Bali. That's where I'm going. I'm going to Bali. I've always wanted to go to Bali, and you just gave me a round trip ticket to go to Bali with 5 of people that I love. Oh yeah, we're going to Bali. We're gonna get on the beach. We're going to go. They have the white sand beaches. We're gonna go hang out in Bali. I've been to Vancouver, and Vancouver is cool. And I could drive really from Bay Area. I could drive to Vancouver in a day. So I'm going to Bali. Now a close second is South Africa, because I always wanted to go to South Africa. Lord, if you're listening, I know I've been asking you for things, but Lord, if you're listening, please let somebody listen to this podcast and be like, you know what? Ashling Cole would be a great addition to our program that we're having in South Africa. I think that we should bring her there. Lord, let it be so in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.
You know what? I got a buddy that lives in South Africa. I will personally make sure we start to get some. We gotta get some roots in South Africa. I'm gonna say, hey, bro, I want you to share this with 2 or 3 people in South Africa.
Yes, please.
That's great. So we can get that South Africa thing.
Yes, started. Please. Yes.
So Ashling, where do you see yourself going as an artist? Do you think at this point you have the full wind behind you and you don't know where you're going to end up? Do you see yourself at this point trying to slide into a certain vein? Like, where do you see yourself now in your maturation, in your development, in your growth?
Wow, that is a really good question. And I don't know that I fully have like a fully developed answer to that, but I know that there is mentorship in my future. And so I don't know if that is as a label executive, or if that is as an A&R person, or that is as a minister of music working with up and coming gospel artists, or I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But I know that I love the artist side of what I do. I love traveling and ministering, and I hope that that never ends. I hope that I can do that until I take my very last breath. And there's a teaching element that is just the desire of my heart. Like I work with Oakland School District. Currently, we're out for the summer, but I work with an organization called Elevate Oakland, and I work at one campus in Oakland to teach choir to middle school students. And until I had done that, I had done mentorship like on a very small scale, doing, vocal lessons or leading a vocal workshop or something like that. But when I really got in the school and I really started working with these young people, I realized that this was the desire of my heart, was to teach, like at whatever level that is. So as an artist, if I can use the platforms that I have been blessed to be on and utilize that to move into a mentorship program, or develop one, or maybe there's already a mentorship program that is looking for somebody to be part of that, I would definitely love to use that. I would love to use, if my name goes before me and it has good character, which I always hope and pray that it would open doors, so that, as you were saying, so that I can take this experience that I've had, these things that I've been through as a human being, as a woman, as a gospel artist, and put that all into one and help to shape and mold the next generation of artists. Absolutely.
Ashling, I want to know your peers, those that work with you, have worked with you, what are they going to say about you? Like, if I got to get a reference, what do they say? And sometimes we don't get that. Or sometimes you get wind of it and like, hey, I was talking to Donato and he was saying that you were an amazing person, that you do a lot of stuff, which I didn't know. What do your peers say about you if you've heard anything? And we'll even prefer if it's bad. We like to jump. No,
right. Not prefer is bad. Oh my goodness.
I know. But what would they say? How would they describe you?
I think that they would describe me as just being joyful, just as somebody who is a walking example of gratitude. And, as you said it, in the beginning, you see that I'm humble, and I love people. I love God and I love people. And every opportunity that I have to love on people, I do it. I mean, if somebody cuts me off on the freeway, I pray for them. Now that's very strange, because I'm literally not just saying this because we're on a podcast. This is literally my life. This is who I am. Whether you come to my house at 6 a.m. or 4 a.m, or you see me in the studio at midnight, it's literally who I am, because I think that authenticity wins 100% of the time. Yes. I can't trust you if you're not being authentic. And so it's so important for me to live my authentic life out loud.
Yeah.
And so people would definitely tell you that I'm authentic. I'm funny. I love to laugh. I'm joyful. And I also am really intentional with what God has given me. And I don't know what else I could say, but yeah, that's about it.
Well, I think it's a great representation. It brings me to the hour is gone, so thank you. This is it flies. You're easy to talk to. Hey, that's that auntie energy, auntie.
That's it.
I got to talk to you. I got to talk to you. We got to catch up, auntie. School's out. I'm back home for the summer. Let me tell you what has been going on in Austin, Texas. So
exactly.
This will be the last question, and then I also want to talk a little social media so people can follow, keep in contact. How do you feel when it comes to you covering a song, whether it's something that's popular, something that was popular or means a certain thing, do you ever feel any pressure on you maybe putting your own little spin on it? And now the pressure is fine, I'll keep it to. Do you ever feel that?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it for sure. I felt it with Safe in His Arms. I mean, that wasn't, I did not bring that to the Minister of Music and say, I want to do this song. This was a song that they said, this is the song that you're going to sing. And I was like, this is a really big song. And not that I'm intimidated by big songs, but it's big shoes to fill, because to me, I approach the song not only as like the artist that sang it before me, right? And so, of course, it's Thomas Whitfield's song originally, and then Vicki Winans covered it, and that was a huge hit in Vicki Winans' career. And so, I want to honor what's been already done. So if somebody gives me a song, I always go back to the original, even if they send me the Vicki Winans version. I'm going to go back and who wrote it? When was it first recorded? How did they do it? How did the songwriter want it to sound? Right. And so I want to always honor that legacy as much as I possibly can. And I think that it's really important that you learn the original first, and then put your own spin on it. Depending on, what genre music or what it is that you're doing. That's my preference. Is like, I want to honor the songwriter. I want to honor the artist. And then I also want to honor the story. So when we talk about Safe in His Arms, okay, when was there a time where I didn't feel safe?
Yeah.
What did I do about it? How did I lean on God? How did I lean on the people around me? How did I make it through a season or a time where I didn't feel safe? Now I can personalize it. So now I'm not only honoring the songwriter and the artist, but now I'm honoring the story, the testimony, right? Because the Lord is my shepherd. Now we're going into scripture. Okay, so what's the scriptural reference of this song? Okay, let me go study that scripture, right? Let me go pray over this scripture and see if there's something else that God wants to reveal to me about this scripture. And so it's a long process. It's not just learning the song. It's really, for me, it's like 4 or 5 or 6 different layers of doing that, for sure. And then how do I want to tell this story, right? I've thought about the songwriter, the artist, the scripture, the melody, the words, the story. Okay, now how do I want to tell this story? How do I want to portray this story? Melodically, emotionally, where are we going to add the dynamics? Are we going to have a choir? Okay, let me have a conversation with the choir. What are your intentions? How does this song resonate with you, right? Because I think we in order to strike a chord, we have to be on one accord.
Yes.
And so in order to do that, that requires a conversation. And so, so I think it's really important. It's really multifaceted for me. And what a great question, because I, above all, consider myself a storyteller. And that's through my songwriting, through my ministry, through my, testimony, like whatever the things that I've been, like, I want to tell the story. I want to tell of His goodness. I want to tell of, go tell it on the mountain. That's really how I live my life. And so I get to do it through song. And what a gift, what a blessing to be able to do that.
Yes. For those who have never met Ashling Cole, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I certainly did. I love that it went so quick, because it gives me just an idea of just how swept away I was. So thank you, Ashling. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn more about you. Because we get this. I mean, yes, we're going to look at your clips, but this gives us a chance to know the lady. And that helps us.
You.
It really
thank
does.
You.
So thank you for taking the time to do this. How can people, what would be one of the easiest, your preferred way? I don't mind reading off and listing everything, but what's your preferred method of contact that you would like for people to follow you?
Yeah, so Instagram is probably the number one. It's ashling.cole. Really, if you go to Google and you type in Ashling, first of all, there's not very many of us in the world. And so
No.
I might be the first or second one to pop up. But yeah, you can type in Ashling Cole into any search engine and you're going to get everything. You're going to get the website, ashlingcole.com. You're going to get Instagram, Facebook. I have a personal page and an artist page. But Instagram is really, that's kind of where I found my connections with people. I went through a period where I had a love-hate relationship with social media because I didn't like how time consuming it was. But when I began to shift and look at Instagram, for example, as a doorway into people's homes, into people's lives, into, like I shared the young man reaching out through DMs, asking for prayer. Like, if it wasn't for social media, I never would have, met them or had that opportunity to really encourage somebody. And so I don't post 7 times a day like some people do, but when I post, it is going to be something, authentically me and telling you really where I'm at. And you might get a song, you might get a word of encouragement. You might get me going through the car wash like we did yesterday. So you just never know what it might be. But yeah, Instagram. I don't really do X or Twitter or whatever the thing is now. I don't really do that. I do have a YouTube channel, Ashling Cole Official, and you can find tons of clips, including my original Sunday Best audition tape, because it was a tape back then that I sent in. So yeah, you can follow me there. And of course, ashlingcole.com, we have a booking page there set up if you have an event or something going on that you want to bring me out for. I also sing birthday songs if you want a birthday song. Yep.
If South Africa wants to go ahead and bring you through.
Hey, let's go.
All them islands over there in the Philippines, one of them. We got to get
That's
one
right.
of them.
Come on, let's go. Absolutely.
Ashling, thank you very much. This was great. Everyone follow. Let's give her our support and let's pass it along. We get a chance.
Thank you.
To learn a little something today, and now someone else needs to learn a little something about Ashling Cole. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. And let me just encourage you, Donato, this is such a great platform for you. This seems like such a natural thing for you to do. You're so conversational and approachable and a safe space. And so may God continue to bless you and keep you and grow you and increase your territory and your family, your home life. May God increase your finances abundantly so you can be blessed to be a blessing. But I just pray that this continues to bless you and bless other people through this platform. And thank you so very much for having me. I appreciate you so much.
It was a pleasure. And thank you. Have a great rest of the night.
Thank you. You too.